What's going on, everybody? It's Vaaraiant and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at another deck profile, and this is one deck that will also survive rotation, but for now we're just gonna take a look at the deck list as it is, and that is the Ancient box. So starting off, we have 3 copies of Fluttermane. As you will see, we have a lot of Ancient Pokemon, some one-offs as well as Vaaraiant here. This is the new Vaaraiant with this new attack, Unrelenting Onslaught, and basically does 180, and it's a fighting type, so that's not bad to disrupt the price rate. That might see some use in Raging Bolt as well instead of Slitherwing. Now, next up we have Greytusk. Of course, as I mentioned, we will have a lot of Ancient Pokemon because we need to discard a lot of them. And then our main attackers, 4 copies of the Roaring Moon, the baby Roaring Moon, and let's put the stamped one, the most beautiful one, in front. But this is not all that's from the Pokemon. Of course, we have a Roaring Moon EX as well that will help us get those crazy big number knockouts, unlike a Charizard or Dragapult EX. And next up, of course, Fizzdibity EX to get all those 3 extra cards, and the Vaaraiant EX, so we can always move our attacker into the active and we don't need to commit any energies to retreat because, of course, most of our attackers are Dark type. We have 1 Brute Bonnet as well, so that we can utilize the Toxic Powder ability when we attach the Ancient Energy Booster Capsule. Of course, 1 Iron Bundle, so that we can move out something out of the active that we do not want to hit. And then a Radiant Greninja that will help us discard the energies and draw more cards. Next up, we have 4 copies of Sada's Vitality. Of course, this will help us charge our Pokemon and, accelerate energy them so that the baby moons can attack, and as well as the big Roaring Moon. And then, of course, 4 copies of Explorer's Guidance as well. We really need to dig through our deck, discard as many ancient cards as possible so that we can fuel the output of the Roaring Moon's attack. And 1 copy of Boss's Orders as well, if we want to gas something into the active spot. Then 3 copies of Nesball. This is our Pokemon search. We need to get all those Pokemon out. We cannot use Buddy Puffins because all these Pokemon are more than 70 HP. And we have 3 Ultra Balls as well, and these we play only basic Pokemon, so they are for basic Pokemon, but it helps us discard the items and Pokemon and tools that we do not need or want. And then 4 copies of Earthen Vessel, another ancient card, and as well, allowing us to get the energy so we can then discard it with Greninja or attach to our attackers. And then 2 copies of Night Stretcher. This is mostly for Pokemon, but it can be used for energy as well. We have 2 Pokegear so that it can help us find the limited number of supporters that we have in our deck. We play 2 copies of Counter Catcher as we are 1 prizer. We might be behind, but so we can take bigger knockouts. And then Pulpet, it's pretty self-explanatory. We do a lot of discarding, so being able to get the supporters back into the deck is pretty handy. And 1 Superior Energy Retrieval as well to help us get those energies back that we have discarded. 1 Super Rod, pretty self-explanatory, either Pokemon or energy. And then 1 Dark Patch as well, which helps us fuel the big Roaring Moon. So the perfect combination to have is the Roaring Moon, Dark Patch, Sada, and an energy in hand so that you can power out the Roaring Moon in 1 turn and you don't need to bench it preemptively. And then our ace pack of choice, of course, is the Secret Box, because we are all about discarding items, and this not only discards items and Pokemon and tools, but also grants us the exact same thing: items, tools, Pokemon, and Stadium as well. So that's a pretty handy ace pack in this deck. And then I was mentioning tools before, and we have 4 copies of Ancient Energy Booster Capsule, or Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. And this helps us get our Pokemon to higher HP, and of course it counts as another ancient card in the discard pile. And then we also play 1 Binding Mochi, because with a combination of Energy Booster Capsule and Brute Bonnet, or just simply using the Pecharunt, we can move a Dark attacker into the active spot, poison it, and use Binding Mochi to do 40 more damage in that turn, allowing us to take big knockouts without the need of the Roaring Moon EX. And then the 3 stadiums of choice, pretty simple. Pokestop, because we need to mill items, we need to mill Pokemon. Well, not items we get back from the Pokestop, so we play a lot of items, and that's pretty nice, and that's why the Pokestop is the best stadium for this deck. So before we reveal the number of energies in the deck, if you want to get yourself a cool, custom, reliable, sturdy, and cheap playmat, then of course make sure to visit matzaccessories.com and use the promo code VAAR20 for 20% discount at the checkout. And now, pretty simple, 7 copies of Direct Energy, and that's all we need in our deck, because all of our attackers require either dark or colorless energy to attack, so 7 dark energy is pretty enough for this deck, and that's all this deck needs. So if you have enjoyed this deck profile, then of course make sure to check out some deck profiles on the channel that I have done before. Make sure to subscribe to not miss any future uploads, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!